Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pocomoke City Mayor and Council meeting. Today is Monday, June 16, 2025. It is 6:33 p.m. Would you stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me. Councilmember Tall, would you lead us in prayer tonight?
Everyone bow their heads. Father God, thank you for blessing us on this day. Thank you for allowing us to meet together. Thank you for seeing us through this strenuous week. Father, continue to watch over us and our families and our community and our places of our homes and in our hearts. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 2, approval of the minutes from the May 20th work session. Council, is there any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 20th work session.
I second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right. Thank you. Moving forward to the June 2nd Mayor and Council meeting. Council, is there any discussion? I will entertain a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve June 2nd minutes.
I second.
The motion has been made and properly seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right. Thank you. Moving forward to the reading of the June 2nd closed session statement. On June 2nd, 2025 at 7:30 p.m., the Pocomoke City Mayor and Council went into closed session. The closed session was held at City Hall, 101 Clark Avenue, Pocomoke City, Maryland, 21851. The motion to enter into closed session was made by Councilmember Holland and seconded by Councilmember Cotman. Council members Diane Downing, Holland, Tall, Marshall, and Cotman all voted in favor of entering into closed session. The statutory authority for entering into closed session was General Provision Art SS 3-305B14. There was one topic of discussion at the closed session under this same statutory authority. The topic of discussion was the discussion of city-owned property. No action or vote was taken. Moving forward to the reading of June 9th closed session statement. On June the 9th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m., the Pocomoke City Mayor and Council went into closed session. The closed session was held by Zoom. The motion to enter into closed session was made by Councilmember Tall and seconded by Councilmember Cotman. Councilmember Downing, Tall, and Cotman all voted in favor of entering into closed session. The statutory authority for entering into closed session was General Provision Art SS 3-305B1. There was one topic of discussion at the closed session under the same statutory authority. The topic of discussion was to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this body has jurisdiction. Any other personnel matters that might affect one or more specific individuals. A consensus was taken, 3 for, none against, with 2 absent. Thank you. Moving forward to item number 3, approval of the bills list for payment. Council, is there any discussion? I will entertain a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the bill list for payment.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right as well. So moved. Thank you. Moving forward to item number 4, approval of the Police Department purchase fingerprint station. Chief Hancock, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Evening.
So our edema fingerprint system is about 9 years old. When it was purchased, there was no what's called TAP, Technology Assurance Program that was purchased with it. And what that program does is cost you a couple $1,000s extra annually, but when you buy into that program, you never have to come up one time to pay the full cost of what one of these things might be. IDEMA's pretty much got the market on fingerprint stations. I don't know of anywhere else that uses anything but IDEMA. The purchase price is $28,980. We're having a lot of trouble with ours. The good news is it doesn't come to any additional cost to taxpayers. As I've spoken with Ms. Matthews quite a few times, we've had a decent amount of money left in our salaries where we've been short staffed throughout the year. So I'm just respectfully requesting to move any funds from there into our capital outlay so we can purchase this at no extra cost to the city or the citizens.
So Chief,
Yes, sir.
You want a motion to approve this purchase?
Yes, sir, if possible.
Thank you. Council, is there any discussion?
I make a motion to approve the purchase.
Second.
The motion has been made and properly seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right. So moved. Thank you. You're good, Chief.
I'm sorry?
He's the next one.
I'm about to say he's up next.
Mr. Mayor, I'm wondering if it,
Neighborhood camera upgrade.
yeah, the camera upgrades, I was wondering if it'd be more appropriate if I spoke after they read the readings, or do I have to go
Okay,
in that
so
order?
this is what I need. This is not on the agenda. So Chief Hancock needs to come back up under the employee comment section.
Okay. Okay.
Was a different agenda posted? Different agenda posted.
I have item number 4, approval of the police department purchase fingerprint scan. That's all I got.
And then next after that, you
Oh,
don't have,
they didn't update the agenda in my book.
it's not neighborhood.
Is it posted? Which one did you post?
This one is the one with the neighborhood camera upgrades is posted.
Okay.
Oh,
That's the one that was printed in the packet.
Then you gotta go by that one anyway, Todd.
yeah, we just don't.
So make sure I have the proper agenda the next time. Because I was about to ask, why wasn't it on the agenda when I remember us distinctly talking about it?
Yeah, it's there.
What is item number 5? What does it read?
Neighborhood camera upgrades.
Neighborhood camera upgrades.
Neighborhood camera upgrades.
Item number 5, neighborhood camera upgrades.
Yes.
Who does these?
So this was printed from the packet, and I noticed that the packet is different than what you guys received on Friday, what is actually posted on the agenda.
So Charnel and I have two different sheets.
Okay.
It's in mine.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out why the chief was still standing up.
He's still next.
One of these?
I was trying to figure out.
Take this
Oh,
over.
it's something else.
You want a couple of them? Just one?
The land says. Thank you. Okay, item number 5. Y'all don't have nothing else hidden from me, do you? Neighborhood camera upgrades.
Mr. Mayor, would you prefer that I speak on this or defer to closing comments, because it'll...
No. I can actually start the conversation for you.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago, we talked about getting the spot shots, where basically when a firearm is fired, the cameras will immediately go to that area where the firearm is fired, which will help identify suspects and things like that. And so the council voted that it was too expensive at that time. But as our city manager said in my briefing with her, we can't put a cost on a life. So she and Chief Hancock decided that they wanted to bring this back to the body and try to convince the body that this is worth it. If I can just give my personal opinion before I turn it over to Chief, if we really want to see our streets cleaned up and we really want the gun violence to stop in our town, we have to have the mechanisms in place to put these people behind bars, because if you believe in using a gun that is not registered to you and things like that, you deserve a space in jail. It's just as simple as that. And if people don't like my opinion, you can come get me later. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Instead of reading everything that I got here, I'll narrow it up for you. We're looking to upgrade and install 4 quad cameras. I welcome any of you at any point in time. We've just got 2 quad cameras that's been installed and hooked up, and the features that they have is absolutely phenomenal. Each camera actually has 4 lenses, so when you talk 2 cameras with 4 lenses each, that's the same as having 8 cameras present. They're not cheap. For 4 of them, it's $30,000 installed. Years ago, as Mayor said, when we were talking about the original Shot Spotter, that system was $49,500 annually, and we had to commit to a 3-year contract. Under this other company that I am dealing with as far as LPRs go, license plate readers, and license plate readers have a live camera on them as well. They've bundled together a shot detector and 4 LPRs that will have live cameras on them, and they'll strategically be placed throughout the city in a north, south, east, west manner. $29,800. That's the annual cost, but it's only a 1-year commitment. After the end of that 1 year, we don't have to renew it. Getting a little bit ahead, but Mr. Mayor, with your blessing, I'd like to continue as far as my plan as far as the funding goes. Every year annually in FY26, again, Ms. Matthews and I have discussed it, we have $25,000 allocated in Red Speed Fund. I'm sorry, the total cost of the project for the cameras and the LPRs and the shot detectors, $59,800. We take in $25,000 annually on Red Speed. We were granted into our capital outlay $23,000 for upgrading new patrol rifles, and $11,000 in our capital outlay for painting the inside of the police department. Well, good folks, I'd like to say that I'm willing to paint the inside of the police department myself, and we take the cost of these patrol rifles and the interior painting and the Red Speed, which comes to $59,000, and it doesn't cost the taxpayers or the city 1 extra cent. I'm $800 short. I can find $800 from somewhere, but I think at the end of the day,
we can find $800.
I think at the end of the day, it's going to make our community feel safer, and I think we can also send a message to criminal violators that we're taking every approach through technology-based equipment to keep our community safe.
Council, is there any discussion? No?
I think Chief Hancock makes it pretty easy, because every time he brings a solution, he brings more than just, he brings answers as well. So it's another job well done by you, Chief.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the neighborhood camera upgrades.
A second.
The motion has been made and properly seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right. So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can sit
Thank
down
you,
for real this
Chief.
time. Moving forward to item number 6, second reading and public hearing of resolution number 2025-R-14, approval of fiscal year 2026 Pocomoke City budget. Hearing and vote. Resolution number 2025-R-14. I got it. resolution of the Mayor and Council of Pocomoke City, Maryland, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2026. Whereas Section C49 of the City Charter provides that an annual budget containing estimates of anticipated revenue and proposed expenditures for the coming fiscal year shall be adopted before the first day of July in every year, but only after the council shall have held a public hearing thereon following 2 weeks' notice in one or more newspapers having general circulation within the city. And whereas all the requirements of the charter have been met and the prescribed public hearing on the budget having been concluded and the city council is ready to adopt a budget for the coming year, now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the Mayor and Council of Pocomoke City, Maryland, that the budget and the levy for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026, attached hereto and made a part thereof, be the same is hereby adopted as the budget for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026. And be it further enacted and ordained that this resolution shall take effect from and after the date of its approval by the council. A public hearing will be held today, June 16th, 2025, during the Mayor and Council meeting at 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers at City Hall. We will now enter into our public hearing about resolution number 2025R-14. Please come forward, state your name and the street that you live on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Edwin Flores with iCore LLC. Is that me?
Yeah, you're the next one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, yeah.
Are there any comments on resolution number 2025R-14? Council, is there any discussion? I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-R-14.
Second.
The motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right. So moved. Thank you. So what I'm going to say before we move on to the next item for a point of order. In all 7 years that I have been with this body, this is the first time that we've ever had our budget done before the deadline. Too many times we've had to pass emergency resolutions to get our budget and our fees and fines in. Ms. Matthews, I tip my hat to you tonight for your hard work, for balancing this thing, and taking everything that we said seriously. Not just us, but everything that our city employees said seriously, and everything that the residents said seriously. Now, come July 1, I want us to get out there, and I want us to use that $500,000 to pave some more of these roads and sidewalks. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you this: 4th Street can't be first. They'll say we got preferential treatment because I live on 4th Street.
We're not the only one. They get the nigga for it.
That's right. That's right.
I don't live on 4th Street, that is pretty bad.
Moving forward to item number 7.
Mayor, I didn't know what the regulation is on stipulations on days regarding this next ordinance. But I know we had discussions on it in closed session, and I didn't know, we had questions on other entryways and stuff like that. And I don't know if we have all the answers necessary to make a decision tonight.
On what, item number 7?
Yes.
Okay, well, let me read it.
Okay.
And if y'all choose to table it, you can do that. But
Okay.
just keep in mind,
I don't know, I didn't know the day-wise, how many, so many days from the first reading to the second reading.
just keep in mind that we'll have to advertise it again. So it won't be at our next meeting. It'll be at the meeting following that. So we'll go into July, and that's why I asked Ms. Teller to come tonight, since Mr. Green, we could not be here to present the findings of the Board of Zoning.
On those questions,
Hmm?
on the questions that we had in closed session?
On item number
Regard,
7?
yeah, wasn't that the one with the,
No.
that's not the part?
No, that's not the
All right.
same one.
Okay, different one then,
You got some water down there?
yeah. I was thinking it was the one with
Oh,
the apartment complex
No.
off of
No,
Cedar
that's
Street.
not the same one.
All right.
I got you now. I didn't know where you
No,
were.
yeah.
And I think Ms. Matthews does have the answers
Yeah,
for
yeah,
us.
I'm sure she does.
Moving forward to item number 7, second reading of ordinance number 20250-5, ordinance amending the Pocomoke City zoning map 01-015095, hearing and vote. Mayor and Council of Pocomoke City, ordinance number 20250-5, second reading. An ordinance amending the Pocomoke City zoning map. Whereas Section 4-201 at sec land use articles of the Maryland Annotated Code provide a Maryland municipality the power to amend zoning regulations and boundaries. And whereas Pocomoke City has received a zoning map amendment request for the property owned by iChore LLC located at 1013 Clark Avenue, Pocomoke City, Maryland 21851, and recorded among the Worcester County Land Records at Liber 8732, Folio 265, and shown on the tax map for Worcester County, Maryland as number 0401-0002-0750, tax account 01-015095, and whereas iChore LLC seeks to rezone the aforementioned parcel from R2 to R3 in order to utilize the property and improve structure for multifamily housing, and whereas the intent of the proposed rezoning is to rehabilitate the structure on the property to a two-family dwelling, and whereas the Pocomoke City Planning and Zoning Commission met on April 16th, 2025 and voted to deny the rezoning and issue a finding of facts and notice of decision outlining why the property should not be rezoned. And whereas the Mayor and Council of Pocomoke City do not adopt the findings and facts of the Pocomoke City Planning and Zoning Commission, the Mayor and Council adopt the April 8th, 2025 Pocomoke City Planning and Zoning Department staff report and independently find that this is in the interest of the city to permit the rezoning because 1, of the findings of facts attached as Exhibit A and made a part hereof. 2, the property's proposed amendment is compatible to the local jurisdiction plan. And 3, there was a mistake in the zoning classification. And whereas a public hearing on the zoning amendment was held on Monday, June 16, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall. After the first reading, and said hearing was published in at least one newspaper or general circulation in local jurisdiction once each week for 2 consecutive weeks, which said notice specified the time and the place at which the Mayor and Council of Pocomoke City will hold the public hearing on the proposed rezoning. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of Pocomoke City, pursuant to state law and the Pocomoke City Code, hereby Section 1, approve the rezoning of 1013 Clark Avenue, Pocomoke City, Maryland 21851 from R2 to R3. Section 2, further the zoning map of Pocomoke City shall be updated to reflect the approved rezoning. This ordinance was introduced and read at a regular council meeting of the Mayor and City Council of Pocomoke City held on the 5th day of May 2025, having been duly published as required by law. The public hearing was held on June 16, 2025, and was finally passed/acted upon by the Mayor and Council at its regular meeting held on the 16th day of June 2025. I just want to say before we go into the public hearing that this language has to read like this, so it's going to read that we passed it. The council still has to vote. So at this time, we're going to go ahead. Actually, Ms. Teller, I'm going to ask you to come forward and let us know on the findings of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Be happy to. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This 1013 Clark Avenue is pretty straightforward, being as though it has been vacant for 6 months or more with no occupancy, no full utilities in operation. Therefore, under the code, it would have to revert back to single family. It's also within the comp plan on trying to address the blight on some of these homes that have been left in basically derelict properties. And, sorry, is that better too, besides the, and that's why I say it's pretty much straightforward. It was brought up within the motion of denying this that the commission is pretty much in consensus that the council will have to address, this planning and zoning will also have to address the new ADU law effective January 1. This property might be falling into that category if it's owner occupied, and then the other half is, you can stop me if I go astray here, but the current understanding, and I know there's been many interpretations of this law before it actually was passed, it seemed to be a pretty fluid situation. But the way that we are interpreting that law is that if the property is occupied by the owner, then the other half and or an accessible dwelling unit could be provided in some fashion. And that's where we're going to get in. We have to get into the guts of this thing now, but we have to do it. There's no getting around it. And that may be a plus to some property owners, and it might not be a plus to some others, but it is what it is. But that is pretty much the consensus of the Planning and Zoning Commission at the time. And I think that we explained that to, the applicant, that, maybe down the road there's another avenue to go with that.
Thank you, Ms. Seller. I'll now open up the floor for the public hearing. Please come forward, state the name of your street, state your name and the name of your street.
Good evening. My name is Edwin Flores, owner of iCore LLC. Should I read the notes? I'm sorry, first time doing this. I'm here, as she said, I'm here to present my request for a zoning map amendment, reconvert my property back to its original two-family dwelling. The property is 1013 Clark Avenue. The property has a rich history, and I believe it's essential to preserve its original character. The property was initially built as a duplex, and its layout and design reflect this intention. The existing structure is not conducive to a single-family residence, and attempting to convert it would require extensive and costly renovations. By reverting it back to its original use, I can maintain the property integrity and avoid unnecessary alterations. Furthermore, the property's existing infrastructure supports its original two-family dwelling designation. The property features 2 existing driveways that can accommodate 2 to 3 cars on each side of the property. The existing parking arrangement demonstrates the property was designed to accommodate multiple families. My plan is to occupy one unit and rent the other, providing a valuable opportunity for affordable housing in our community by offering a rental unit at a moderate rate. I aim to contribute to the local housing needs, supporting individuals and families who seek affordable options. This action arrangement will not only preserve the property's historical character, but enable me to maintain the property more effectively, ensuring it remains a valuable asset to the community. In conclusion, I believe that rezoning my property to a two-family dwelling will have a positive impact on the community. I appreciate the consideration for my request.
Repeat that for me.
Oh, no, I appreciate the consideration.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I was looking at pictures of the house.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sarah Chapman, Market Street. I didn't really know this was part of the thing, so I didn't come prepared for this, but I can tell you that my husband and I looked at that house to do a tour of it. And as many of you know, that we were in here months ago to try to get a rezoning for our apartment building, and that was also declined. And my argument there was that if we ever had a fire, that I would be allowed to keep it the way that it was. Now, I realize that that fire, since it had caught fire, it changed hands. But the fire is what displaced that and made it half vacant and half unvacant. So if that is true, what I was told is that if a fire destroyed it, I would be able to rebuild. That kind of falls along the same lines for this gentleman. I would think the one side, you can occupy it as it is now, unless much has changed since we had viewed it. But the one side was totally livable. The other side's destroyed with fire. So that's all I have to say for that.
I don't remember that house catching on fire. You live right there.
I was gonna say, I live right on the same street, catty corner to the house in question, and the house did catch on fire. It was horrible. But I never knew all of that. The house was so big like this. I'm looking at the floor plan now, and the house is nice. Yeah, but it caught on fire on the, like, on this side, on one side, not both sides.
It was on one side.
Right. Yes.
I thought it was the house next to it. So both of them
But they were
caught on.
close. See, no, at one point, I think one did catch on, the other one did.
Okay,
But they were
okay.
really kind of close at one point.
The house next door is, I'm sorry, the house next door is.
Please come forward.
Actually just received the letter, that the house next door, it was burnt down, and it was actually donated to the fire department, so it could be burnt down for training or something like that, something along the lines.
Are there any more comments on this? Thank you. Council, is there any discussion?
Not regarding this house per se in general, but just, I think the third one I can think of just in the past year, where it's a multi-family complex, and then it's been vacant for too long, and then it has to come, then it gets rezoned to single vacancy. And it's an ongoing issue that we have in this town, in my opinion. And, the way it's worded right now, I would agree with Ms. Toller that with the findings of planning and zoning, but I don't agree that that is what's best for these property owners and this town. I know some people believe single-family home is the best outcome, but some of these houses just aren't meant to be occupied by single families. So I hope we make some changes in the ordinance to alleviate this issue, because it is going to continue to come up to us. And as much as I agree with these property owners to keep them multifamily, legally, we could be in jeopardy if we do it. So, not saying I'm in favor of it, but I'm in favor of finding a way to make it so that we don't continue to have these issues, because there's a lot of houses in this area that aren't there's too much room for one family, and if you have one family in there, the cost, the heat and AC and electric and all that stuff is just too much for any single family to burden by themselves. So we're in a predicament where people are going to stop buying these houses because they're not going to fix them up. It's not be profitable for them to fix them up, or then they'll just sit there and deteriorate till they get donated to the fire company to burn down for training. So we gotta take a serious look at this moving forward and try to come up with a better solution so that these older homes that are not in the best shape are purchased and rehabilitated and brought back to life for residents in this town.
We have this conversation every single time. Y'all are the city council. If you want to change the code, change the code.
I think we should.
But we keep having this conversation, we keep kicking this can down the road. If y'all want this, if you want our planning and zoning department to adjust the code, give our interim city manager direction tonight, to have him adjust it, send it to planning and zoning, and then it'll come to the mayor and council. But for too long, we've just kicked this can and we have the same discussion. This isn't number 3, this is number 4.
We had this one, we had one Ms. Chapman talked about, and we had the one on Second Street, right there by Mitchell.
Right, and then there is another person who's going through the same issue on Market Street, so that's why I'm counting 4. I'm counting the 4 conversations that I've been a part of. Personally, I think that 6 months is no time.
No.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that we should just say, oh yes, bring apartments, bring duplexes, but what I am saying is 6 months is absolutely no time. You would literally have to change hands, and as soon as hands were changed, the new party would have to start working. So what I am saying is, if you all want this changed, y'all are gonna have to change it.
How do we do
Because-
that, Andrew?
We can do a code amendment, but I think the biggest thing is, what do you think is the proper time frame? The other big part of this is, as you redo your comprehensive plan, you're gonna do a zoning map change. So another thing to think about is, if you have an idea, like, you know where these houses are, you could create like a floating zone over a certain set of, like, number of blocks. And if you're in that floating zone, because these larger houses aren't throughout the whole city, they're just in some areas, but they go through multiple zoning districts, you could create, like, within that zone, a larger time frame than outside that zone. So there are a couple of ways to go about it, seeing maybe what the planning commission does through the comprehensive map, maybe one. Or you could just do a code change at this time. The thing is, when you do a code change, it applies to all the houses in that zoning district. So it's not just that house that may be a certain size. It could be other houses that are smaller, which creates that problem of, you might have to set a square footage, you might have to, it may not just be let's take it from 6 months to 2 years. It may be, as I said, number of square footage is important. It may be a zoning district. There was a push at one point to have a historical district. I think a lot of these houses are in the outer reaches of that historical district, so.
Well, how many multiple dwelling, the only thing we have to look at is how many houses are meant for multiple dwelling, like this gentleman's, in the house. So it's 11 houses that have multiple dwellings, so.
So let's back up. When we say how many houses, originally, so you all know, my house is huge, right? And I am one person, my electric bill's high, my water bill is reasonable, but my electric bill alone over these winter months made me kind of poor.
Can't be scared of the dark.
But-
Gotta turn the lights off.
It was cold, man, it was cold, it was cold. But what I will say is, there was a time where big houses, just like my house, were meant for single families. My grandparents had 11 children, and they were all in that house, but people are not having, I don't know.
Even the home that me and my mother rent out is originally a big old house, but it's now split into a duplex. We live beside it. People, imagine us 2 little women in this big old house. We can't afford it. Like, it wouldn't be feasible.
I'm gonna tell you, I use 3 rooms. The restroom, the bedroom, and the kitchen, literally. So, that's why it goes back to our comprehensive plan, right? What are we trying to attract? What are we trying to do? That's what, we've got to be more intentional about this stuff, because the people that did it 10 years ago definitely didn't, well, they couldn't have possibly foreseen everything that we're seeing now. COVID, we would have never thought 10 years ago that COVID would have been a thing. So these houses were intended for single families at one point, because there were a lot of huge families in Pocomoke, and I'm a product of one. But now, People aren't having families like that. And if they are, more power to them. Because I struggle just taking care of me and my dog.
If I could say something, I think you kind of go, I give credit where credit is due on these property owners that have come before planning and zoning that have requested to go back to multifamily where we have denied them. And my God, they've done a beautiful job in single family. So kudos to them. Secondly, on the comp plan, within the 2014 comp plan, this was a major issue to eliminate the blight going forward. Where do we want to go? And yes, there are some large homes, but that doesn't mean that you're just going to change the whole shebang just because of you've got some larger homes. I mean, look at the one on, I think it's Walnut, the yellow one. That's what, the tallest house in the city. But somebody's going to buy that house. I'm convinced of it. There's that one that's on Linden that's 4 bedrooms and 7 baths. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen there, but that was also denied. The one that used to be the funeral home.
Oh.
Yeah.
The funeral home.
Used to be part of Holloway's or Holloway's. They yell them down there. Yeah. But it that came before us as well. Thank heavens it's being taken care of for the most part. But when you say 6 months and we say that it's not occupied within the 6 months, we're not saying it has to be, or the code's not saying it has to be fully. We would be happy to see if you had utilities hooked up within 6 months. Or within, I don't think that's not asking anything. We're not saying you have to completely rehab this place within 6 months to fall within, reverting it back. That's why we say plus the utilities. And in this particular case, there was 0. Because it sat for so long before Mr. Flores took it over. So that's just another part of the picture. That and the comp plan, that's what we go by in the code. There's nothing else.
Thank you.
Andrew, regarding this gentleman, if he plans on living on one side of it and renting out the other, does he fall into the new, what'd you say, ASU? ADU.
That would be like a separate consideration when that law goes into effect. He can make application with the city.
This January.
So, like right now, he's just trying to do a rezoning.
Yeah.
But if the new law, state law, applies to him differently, Pocomoke may need to rewrite parts of its zoning code anyway based on the new state law. So
Okay.
there's a lot, but right now, today.
But that's not in place now.
Correct.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring that aspect of it up is because it was part of the record and it was part of the motion that was made in the denial that maybe there was another avenue in the future for this applicant to move forward with something.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there any more discussion?
I have a question for Commissioner Tuller. Was it taken into account that the dwelling was impacted by fire in the commission's findings?
Pardon me?
Was it taken into account that the dwelling was damaged by fire?
No. There was no mention of any fire anywhere.
So shouldn't the mention of the fire give him a longer time frame if it's going to be mentioned other than the 6 months or whatever we're giving him?
So
Because, I mean, you
the
gotta
question- the question
That
that
really
we-
doesn't come
The question that we need to ask
before
before we go into that is, what were the living conditions prior to the fire? Was someone living in the house at that point, before we even say, hey, was the fire taken into
And
consideration?
it did appear when Mr. Brandy, we went to the property, it was livable. That was October of '24. I believe, yeah, and I think, Mr. Flores, did you purchase that in April? April of '24? And then Mr. Brandy, we went for an inspection on October of '24, and it was in livable conditions. There was no sign of any kind of fire per se. But in fact, he had,
I do believe it was, I'm sorry, I do believe it was just like the kitchen part or the entryway or the kitchen part that was damaged, if I'm not mistaken, during the fire.
There are two units in the property.
Yeah.
There's two doors, two units. So one unit is completely livable and the other one is not, as you mentioned.
So my
Yeah.
question is.
One, and that's, I believe that's what Mr. Brandy, we found, is that one,
It lived in
the
it.
property was livable. We don't
I'm not
look
sure
at it
about
as
both
A
sides
or
of
B
the
or
units
unit
are
one or two,
fire.
we look at the property and the applicant as one.
Right, I mean, I don't see I don't see the board of, the planning and zoning board saying, hey, well, the fire, da-da-da-da-da. That's not what their job is. Their job is to determine, based on what our code says, do they approve it or do they not? Based on what our code says, they don't approve it. You get what I'm saying? Again, this is going to take the mayor and council to send their request to our planning and zoning department. This is what we want, but we have to be sure of what we want before we say this is what we want.
And maybe it should,
Everybody that's been
Please
before
do.
said that they want to revert it back to its original. So that's saying that they were all, prior to becoming single, they were two or multi-family units.
they're all,
So
they've never been converted to single, it's just the fact that
No,
they've been.
revert back to
they've
the
been
original
vacant.
single family.
It's just the fact that they've been vacant for 60 days.
6 months.
Sorry,
6
6 months. So maybe we need to look at changing it to by the time, when, it doesn't count when it's been on the market or whatever, but somebody buys it, they have 6 months to turn in plans for a multi-use, or maybe it needs to be better communicated that if they just hook up utilities, then it will stay
Well,
multi-family.
you would have to put that into the code.
But right now, Ms. Toller said that if they hooked up utilities within that
Yeah,
time
we
frame, then they would take that into consideration. I'm not saying it's not being communicated, but maybe there's a miscommunication, and if that's brought up front, then somebody can be proactive in that.
It's about the definition, of occupancy. It's semantics.
So,
You know, what is occupancy?
What is considered abandoned
yeah,
as well, so there's a lot of different.
gray area,
Sounds
love
like we
gray
need
area.
to amend this and also amend what we mean by
And
what we
actually,
mean.
I think it's pretty fair that if it's not one,
So all this back
maybe
and
if
forth
it's not
is
occupied.
pointless.
If you don't have utilities, maybe it's occupied, if it's not this, it might be this.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of flexibility within the code now, in my opinion. And going forward, if you, any changes you will need to make, of course, it's really for our benefit, needs to be very explicit. Not to make it more than what it is at the same time.
Not
Don't
make it more
complicated.
explicit, make it easier for you guys, and also make it easier for the people that are looking into buying these properties and fixing them up, so they know what they're getting into as well, you know? It'll make it just a better understanding for everybody.
There's a lot of moving parts to it, I'll agree with that. But then again, when the Planning and Zoning Commission goes into a situation like this, let's say that we all have a boss when we work. Our only boss is the code. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's why I typically don't have conversations outside of the commission. The commission members rarely even talk before me. We don't know until we are sitting at our meeting. Okay? Because once we hash it out, code-wise, law-wise, that's when the decision is made. Nobody knows going into it what anything is, because lots of times it's something that Mr. Brandy, we have to explain anyway, and/or our planning and zoning attorney. So whatever you all want changed, just, I hope to, we can certainly tear it apart more than what you all do, but just give us some sort of playing
Guidelines,
field
yeah.
to work with. And hopefully we can, I don't think we'll do it in one night.
No.
But thank you.
So obviously, we can't make a decision on this right now, so it sounds like everybody's in agreement that we need to amend this plan, right, and then bring it to you guys to see what we need to do to make sure.
No, that's not how we-
So what
No.
would happen is, you wouldn't make a motion to adopt this. He's able to come back in a year. to pick up, or you even could say he can come back sooner after you guys go in and amend what you choose to amend. So the only thing that I'm gonna call for is I'm gonna call for a motion. If no one chooses to adopt it, then it won't be adopted. And then you all need to go.
You want me to make a motion to move forward to item number 8, or 8?
I'm sorry?
Do you just want me to make a motion to move forward to item number 8 on the agenda?
No, I'm gonna call for a motion. If nobody responds to make the motion,
Somebody could make the motion, but there's just gonna be a second. That would be cleaner, that way there was a motion, but without a second, it dies.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-0-5.
is there a second? The motion dies. Moving forward to item number 8. Great Pocomoke Fair, Inc., August event permits. Ms. Chapman.
Hello, everyone, again. I'm here tonight to basically make a request for the liquor license for the August events, which include the Great Pocomoke Fair and the Monster Truck event. I know you guys changed the event permits. The one I have is the outdated one. I need to have the new one sent to me so I can fill that out for you. Also, Worcester County has redone their liquor license process. So you get a letter from mayor and council now instead of you signing the permit. So that's what I'm here to discuss tonight, if you have any questions.
Are you gonna have liquor at all of these events?
No, liquor will be at the fair and the horse shows and the monster truck event.
So it will be at, let me go to
8/2 through
August
9.
first.
8/15 through 16. You said the horse shows too?
The horse shows, yeah.
That's 9/6,
9/6,
9/13,
9/13.
the Derby, no?
No derby, no. Mm-mm.
So how close are we on our liquor permit?
We have a liquor permit. What she's needing is a letter from mayor and council that says that she agrees. So
Okay,
we have
but
one that
so
is
here's the thing, right?
Okay,
Before we give her a letter,
okay,
she should have the permit.
okay.
And then based on the permit, the form that she fills out, then she'll get the letter to go along with it.
So Sarah, did you get the permit from Kara at all?
No, I haven't gotten any emails.
But
I've
see,
gotten no
here's the other
correspondence.
part. This is already on our agenda tonight. I'm talking about in the future because y'all already put it on the agenda and nobody felt the need to say, hey, she needs a liquor permit, so we need to get her the liquor form. So it's already in front of us. So we're not going to backtrack and say, hey, okay, well, you've got to go back to Kara. That's not effective governance.
No, it's not. I agree with you.
Council, is there any discussion?
Can I make a motion to approve the liquor request for the,
List out the dates, please.
August 2nd through 8th.
I make a motion to approve liquor permit for the Great Pocomoke Fair for 8/2 through 9, which is the Great Pocomoke Fair. 8/15 to 16, the Monster Truck Show. 9/6, the Rags to Riches Horse Show. 10/11, Rags to Riches Horse Show. 11/9, Rags to Riches Horse Show. And
9/13.
The Mud Bog.
did I miss one? 9/13, the Briar Horse Show.
No, the Mud Bog. Not the Briar Horse Show, just the Mud Bog.
Briar Horse Show does not need one, so which one? The Mud Bog,
10:25.
10/25, Fall Mud
Yep.
Bog.
The motion has been made. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye. Those that oppose, you have the same right. So moved. Thank you.
What do you want me to do from here? Just, what do I do from here?
So
Sorry, I
from
can't talk.
So from here, you will have to fill out the permit.
Okay.
The same way we did the county permits. It is the permit that comes before the mayor and council. Along with that, when the permit is approved to have your alcohol in the city, we will then send a letter to the county outlining that you were approved for this date, this date, this date. Please see the attached form. This is Pocomoke City's permit.
Okay, can I ask you a question for
Yes.
that? Sorry. So, from tonight, you have to have the permit for the next meeting? Is that what I'm understanding? Because then you're past the 30-day mark, so the county will not issue the liquor license for the
No.
fair?
We're not talking,
Okay,
I just said, we're not gonna backpedal tonight.
we'll
But
just
in
go
the-
from forward.
But
Okay,
in the future,
I got you. I just want to clarify, sorry. Thank you.
moving forward to item number 9, comments from the city council, Councilmember Cotman.
I would like to acknowledge Shears for all of their years of service to the community. I know they announced that they're going to be closing their doors soon to retire. And I also want to thank all of you for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Councilwoman Down.
Just thank everybody for coming out tonight, and I don't know, just, we have a beautiful community, and hats off to the chief and to pastors and to other folks that joined in, who was it? Saturday? That's all.
Thank you. Councilmember Tall.
I just wanted to say, after our public safety meeting this past week, I've seen an influx of our police officers on the street. I know I work at night, so leaving out, seeing the officers out makes me feel a little bit more safe too. I know as a woman being out on my alone, you know, you gotta watch your side, all sides. So that's a big comfort to me. So I just want to say I appreciate that, and that's it.
Councilmember Howland.
I just want to say I hope all the kids that finish up public schools at Pocomoke tomorrow have a good summer. Layla Sweets is having half-price ice cream for kids when they get out. I'm sorry that I missed the public safety meeting. I heard it went well, and it came up with a lot of good ideas, and I want to thank the community and everybody that made it, and thank Chief for continuing his efforts to clean up this town. It don't go unnoticed. Can I put this as the official request for Brandy to start working on us looking at the ordinance regarding some of these issues that keep arising, and I think that was it. Thought I had one more thing. No, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to B, comments from the mayor. Buckle up.
Sounds like a threat.
I'm driving, I'm gonna drive the car real quick. I know how fast I'm gonna go. The first thing that I wanna talk about is I wanna talk about the public safety meeting. It was great to see so many people who have chosen to be invested in solutions. I keep saying we don't know everything. The chief doesn't know everything. Our staff in City Hall doesn't know everything. But if the whole town comes together, we can come up with viable solutions, and that's what happened at the public safety meeting. Were there some tense moments? Absolutely. Were there some moments where a lot of people wanted to get up and probably walk out? Absolutely. But we stayed right there, and we fought until we had a solution. And that is the same thing with every ordinance, every resolution, every issue that comes before this desk. If we stay there and we fight until we have a solution, then we will be doing a service to the people of this community. Dialogue is healthy. The same things that we talked about for item number 8 tonight, that dialogue is healthy. Because guess what? That's how we get stuff done. We are not the Pocomoke City Mayor and Council of the 90s or the early 2000s. We have voices. Every last one of y'all have a voice. I have a voice. And it's time for us to start using it. If we want this community to be propelled, we have to speak up. Because item number 8, in regards to it, we've been talking about it for what, 3 years now? 3 years. If we're going to change it, let's change it. If we're going to be serious about it, let's be serious about it. But not just that. Everything that comes before us, the biggest issue that Pocomoke City has really had is that there has been so much thrown at the elected body that we've been putting out little fires after little fires, and doesn't it feel good now? We don't have to put out the little fires anymore. Now the real work can start. Now we can get back to appreciating what Pocomoke actually means. I came to City Hall today because I had received some emails in months past, and Ms. Matthews mentioned something to me about the skate park. And I couldn't remember at the time why the skate park was closed, but I knew that it's been closed for years. Guess why it was closed? Because they were doing work on the bridge, so the city closed it temporarily, and we never opened it back up. So, with that being said, Saturday morning, our skate park is going to be back open. The appropriate protocol and procedure is people have to go to the police department and they have to fill out the waiver at the police department. But it's time for us to be proactive. How crazy is that, right? We're talking 2018, it closed. It should have only been closed for a couple weeks, and it never opened back again. We are the body that is going to change this town. We are the body that is going to make changes happen. We are the body that is going to restore and make things new. And we need the whole entire community to be on board with everything that we're going to do. With that being said, I think that it is now time. Let me back up. We have 2 candidates that we have selected to move forward in our city manager process. But something that we talked about and that we thought about was that maybe the issue all along has been that the city manager has been overwhelmed by all of the work that they have to do. So, starting July 1, Ms. Brandy Matthews will become our deputy city manager. We still have a city manager. We have 2 candidates for the city manager position. But Ms. Matthews will be stepping into the role of deputy city manager. And as time progresses, we will outline the things that she will be handling versus what the city manager will be handling. The one thing that I can say about Brandy is that she has a pulse on almost everything that's going on in the city. I've had the luxury of coming here every day, almost every day on my lunch break. Not because I always wanted to, but because I have a duty to the residents of this town. But I've watched her talk to business owners. I've watched her respect them. I've watched her do what they need her to do or get done what they need her to get done. I've also watched her talk to citizens, just like she would talk to her sons, or just like she would talk to her mothers. And don't get your head all big and stuff. But my point is, I think that that's what we've been missing all along. I think we've been missing that second position. Y'all know I'm very demanding. Y'all are. But I am. And anybody that can handle my demands, or not even my demands, anybody that can see the bigger picture than what's in front of us, is someone worth promoting and someone worth keeping. So with that being said, Ms. Matthews will step into the role July 1st, 2025. We are excited to see you. From the first Black mayor to the first deputy city manager in this town. The night that I was sworn in, someone asked me, so what are you going to do? And I laughed and I said, I don't know. You are the framework for this position. You get to choose your own framework. You get to work it as long as you do what the mayor and council asked you to do now. You get to work it the way that you choose to work it. So when July 1st comes, if you continue to do what you've been doing since April, you will be a rock star. Any city would be glad to have you. And I'm going to tell you this, you got to stay here and ride out. Like I told Chief, you got to ride out these last 2 years with me. And what you do after that is your business. But congratulations. And council, congratulations for thinking forward and not just seeing what's in front of us. If we want to talk about expansion, we have to be willing to not only expand our thinking, but to expand our scope. And I think that's what we're doing right now. It was a great night at the public safety meeting. $35,000 was raised in pledges for our community center. Neighborhood Watch reinstated. Youth Task Force, the email has already went out about meeting. Arts Commission, the emails are going out this week about the meeting. I even made a plug on Facebook telling people that we want their skills. We want their craft. Dawn, I need you to teach some people how to bake. I might be in your class. But but this is what we need. If we want to see our community change, we have to not only be willing to invest our money, but we also have to be willing to invest our time and invest our craft. I love all of y'all. I'm excited to grow with everybody in this room, and we're going to see what the future has. And like the old people say, I'm going to run on a little while longer to see what the end might be. That's all from me tonight.
Mayor, I got 2 things to add to that. The skate park, when the rec committee was active, we actually looked at it, and I was told it was closed down for safety hazards because the layout of the skate park right now, I don't know how many of y'all have been there, but some of the rails and ramps, like some of the ramps you come down lead right into like a rail. So it just, it's not set up properly. I'm not sure when that was put in there, but it's probably been quite some time. But there's a guy that owns the skate shop in Salisbury, I forget his name, it's been a couple of years ago. But he came down and gave a bunch of ideas for improvements on how to make it more usable. Because that's the other problem with the skate park right now is the layout makes it really, really hard to use. And I mean, I'm not a skater, so I can't really tell you on it. But
my thing is, let's make the improvements, but let's open it up. Now, I
Yeah,
spoke to
no, I
Bill.
agree.
I asked, because finally I was like, I remember when it closed.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, and y'all know that if I don't remember, we in trouble.
And the second thing was, you mentioned that we raised $35,000 at the meeting or whatever, and I was talking with, and this might have been mentioned at the meeting, but I was talking with former Councilwoman Trost, who was excited about it, and she mentioned the idea of like opening an account at a bank where people from the town can go and donate money as they please to this account, and that account money, once we reach our goal for what we need for a community center, it's a way for the community to come together to pull in funds to make this a realistic option for us. Because I think it's something I've been after since I've been on council. I know the mayor has as well, and Miss Diane and Brooklyn and Charnel. But I think it's something the community wants as well. I don't think anybody's opposed to it. So maybe it's a way for us to raise more money, and maybe that's an option we can look at. So if it wasn't discussed, I would like to give credit to former Councilwoman Church for the
So
idea.
what they said in the meeting was that they would prefer to put the money with the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore until we met the goal. But keep in mind, we're still going to try to work with the state.
But if it was in the bank, a local bank in Pocomoke, then anybody could go by there at any point and say, hey, I'm going to donate $100 or $1,000 or $20, whatever it may be.
It would take a lot of work to do it, because whose name is it going to be, and does it go into the city's name? But we can talk about all of that later.
There's gotta be some stuff figured out, obviously.
We can talk about that later.
But just a way for people that wanna continue to donate to help it make it, you know, if they had a sign out front that said this is our goal and they moved it, you know, periodically, then you can see how much closer we are to, making it a reality.
Thank you. I have two more things. I'm gonna say this one first. There's been a comment on Facebook, and I try not to bring Facebook comments into this meeting, but I feel like I need to. That not in the last planning and zoning meeting, but in the meeting before that, that I said the mayor and council run the town. I did not say that. And I invite everybody to go listen to the live. And as a matter of fact, if you want the video of what I said, I can airdrop it to you. What I said was, it was time for the city to be proactive. When we talk about the 81 acres of undeveloped land that the city owns, that the city is in the driver's seat, and that the city, not just the mayor and council, but I said the Planning and Zoning Commission, I said the Board of Zoning and Appeals, this Board of Zoning Appeals, and I even said, and maybe even the Economic Development Commission, once it's formed, will be in the driver's seat to determine what comes to this town. I didn't say we run the town. We are elected to make decisions for the people that we represent. We don't run the town. However, we are the mayor and council, and we do have a voice to use, to speak, to say. And those are my only comments. So no, I didn't say that the mayor and council run the town. And to be perfectly honest, whether people disagree with me or not, I'm still a citizen of this town. And I look forward to the day that that 81 acres is developed, people are living there, we have restaurants, we have recreation, and I'm not even gonna say something fun for the kids, I need something fun for me. I look forward to that. I wanna thank the Planning and Zoning Commission for all of their hard work. I threw about 5 things, it was about 5, I threw about 5 things at them in the past couple months. And they've talked about them, they've discussed them, and they're moving forward. So I want to thank y'all for your hard work, and I just wanted to remind everybody.
It will be done by the end of the year.
Thank you. And I want to remind everyone of our first concert in the park. It is Thursday, June the 19th, which just so happens to be Juneteenth. I want to invite everybody out. Please come out for a good time. The uprising is going to rock Pocomoke down, and I'm looking forward to it. That's all from me tonight. Go ahead.
Just to echo our mayors, we have 2 Juneteenth events going on this weekend. And the first one is on Friday at the local library. You know, the library is now in the Old Firehouse. Thank you very much. Lost my train of thought. It is hosted by yours truly, our open mic. I think it starts at 6:30. Please come in. You don't have to, if you're not a singer or a poet or whatever, just come and enjoy the show. Just come in and support Pocomoke. And then that next day on Saturday, right out front here in front of the one-room schoolhouse, the Sturgis one-room schoolhouse, we will be having an event, a festival, free food, free whatever. Bring your kids out. It's not just about Juneteenth, which it is about community as well. So please come out and support Pocomoke. Thank you.
You've heard the announcements, please cover.
Mayor, are you doing a meet and greet Friday?
Oh. All right, so it has been suggested that we do the meet and greet. It has been suggested that we do a meet and greet via Zoom.
Okay.
Via Zoom, meet and greet via Zoom. So we'll put more information out this week concerning it. Moving on to comments from our interim city manager. And we're so glad you're back.
I'd just like to thank everybody for their prayers last week. Thank you guys. Thank you to EMS for looking out for me. Thank you to the mayor, to council, everyone. I just want to go over a few updates.
You got a long list.
Yeah, just a little bit. It won't take me long, I promise. One of the updates, the community garden, let me go back. Cypress Park Nature Trail. GMB will be here tomorrow, and they will walk the nature trail with Kara and Mike Wyatt. That is the first step to us safely opening back up the nature trail. We want to make sure that we do the nature trail from Cypress Park to Winter Quarters, and then the other portion of the nature trail as well.
Around the pond.
Around the pond, yes.
Let me tell you something. Me and Brandy walked it.
Yeah.
Man, I was tripping the whole way up and tripping the whole way back.
And I told him, I said, it is imperative, you gotta walk the whole nature trail, not just a piece of it. The whole nature trail has to be walked with the representative from GMB. They're gonna take pictures and then they're gonna report back, and then I'll let you guys know what's going on from there. The community garden sidewalk project, few little setbacks due to the rain, but it is about 2/3 completed at this point. The hope is that it will be completed before Sunday for the Pocomoke City tour when MML comes through. That is the hope, that it will be completed so that, you know, they can go and tour the community garden as well. The fairgrounds wetland, we did receive one-to-one mitigation. They will be here again on Wednesday to do another assessment. That assessment is going to tell us whether or not it can be mitigated on site and whether or not MDE is going to approve those plans.
Are they still looking behind the solar panels?
Right now, based on the one-to-one mitigation, it looks like it can stay where it is, but we'll see. It's still ultimately MDE's decision what they approve. And the next thing is the log cabin. I sent out a letter today to Worcester County asking that the remaining funds be earmarked or encumbered for us to finish renovations. When I actually reread what that grant was restricted for, it was only restricted originally for upgrades of electric and the HVAC. I did not want to put the mayor, council, or the residents into a position that we did additional renovations and then we were out of pocket. I wanted to make sure that we got permission from the county first that we could use those funds. Chief kind of talked about the camera placements in the public safety, but 2 of the 4 poles, am I correct, Chief? 2 of the 4 poles have been installed, and the other 2 will be installed once Miss Utility locates the underground wires. That's correct? Okay. Then they're looking at 2 more placements are being looked into, but they require residents' approval. Right now, we've actually have gotten good response from the residents. If those poles have to be placed in the yards, they have been given approval to the chief that it can be done. Our public works building, right now it's in land procedure slated to start in July, weather permitting. The trusses have been ordered, and the trusses actually should be here before the end of the month.
For what?
The trusses are like the
Yeah, for what though?
public works building. Finally, the SIP Phase 1 reimbursement. We finally got our reimbursement back from MDE. Woo! So we finally got our reimbursement back. SIP Line Phase 2. The project is expected to start beginning of July. The contractor is aware of 4 Friday events, and they are also aware that they have to contact Susan and Kara because that will be coming from 7th Street down to Front Street, which it could interfere at some point during the 4 Friday events. Also, finally closed out the 2021 USDA Clark Ave pump station.
Thank God.
It is done. Loan has been closed. We received the remaining our reimbursements. Last week was kind of like rain and money for the city. So now we're currently working on closing out the water tower mixer with Kerry Hudson and Peter Bozick from GMB. There were some issues with the engineering, the way that the contract was done back from 23-24. It has to be redone based off of USDA standards. Surplus vehicles should be picked up and cleared from Public Works by the end of the week. And last, open enrollment has begun. Everything is portal. I've had probably about 10 employees so far have already re-enrolled into health benefits. So if anybody that I explained to everyone, if they have any questions, need any help, to either see me or Dominique.
Thank you.
And I think I better make an announcement right here because I see two people that were supposed to be appointed tonight. We are going to appoint at the next mayor and council meeting. There was still some information that we needed to retrieve from some of the appointees. You're good, Ms. Duryea, but there was some information that we needed to retrieve from some of the other appointees, and our city hall staff had to kind of put a halt on it. Y'all know sometimes I'm like the Energizer Bunny, and sometimes they have to grab me up a little bit. So that will take place 2 weeks from today. We are moving forward to our comments from the audience. Audience, if you have comments, please come forward, state your name and the name of your street, and we would greatly appreciate it.
Evening, Mayor, Council.
Evening.
Positive thing to build off of with the surplus vehicles. For years, all of our vehicles that we took out of service, we ended up donating them to Public Works, and they would get scrap metal for them. I got an idea this year on how I thought we could expand on our sales to our vehicles, and we had 3 old vehicles that we got rid of. We put them on gov deals, and instead of getting a couple $100 a piece for them, out of the 3, we ended up getting just shy of $8,000. So that's money that can be put right into outfitting a new vehicle, so forth and so on.
Put them in the derby?
I'm sorry?
Sell them in the derby?
Councilwoman Downing and Mayor, I went home Saturday and told my wife about my experience, and I can't put it into words. To me, what we did Saturday was more powerful to me than Tuesday. I mean, I couldn't believe the number of people that come out for that, and I just thought it was amazing.
Chief, you felt the Holy Ghost.
I did. It was a feeling. Lastly, Corporal Laverty has taken on a task for me, and we're developing.
For us.
I'm sorry?
For us.
For us, for the city, yeah. And he's developing a citywide app, and Corporal, I'm gonna let you expand on it as to what you're doing and what it can do and so forth and so on.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
The primary objective of the application that I'm developing is for critical incidents that we have inside the city. As it stands, we don't really have a way to effectively communicate to the entire city at large the circumstances in which the incident is, how the incident is unfolding, such as, if, God forbid, we have a shooting inside the city limits, we'll be able to quickly and efficiently tell anyone who's downloaded the application whether they're at large, whether they've been apprehended, areas in which people should avoid due to the critical incidents. That is the primary objective. The secondary objectives that I'm kind of working on as well is make the app flow easy so that you can contact police without having to even Google us. You can download our application off of the Android store or the iPhone store, put it on your phone, click the app, and click call us, and it'll go straight to the police department so that we can respond in a timely manner.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Mayor will also be able to post things citywide, any events for the city or anything relating to the city in any manner, not only police, but all departments.
Absolutely. Are there any other comments from the audience tonight? We are not going to adjourn because we do have a closed session meeting. What I will ask is that we take a 10-minute recess.
Okay.
Can I get a motion, please?
One last thing is, since the EMS is here, I'd like to thank them for being here, and I'm glad to hear that Eric's daughter is starting to do better. It's good to hear. I hope she continues the progress. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Make a motion to take a 10-minute recess.
Second.
The motion is made and properly seconded. All those in favor, use the sound aye. Thank you. We'll be back at 8:08.